Individuals constantly ask me whether you can get a DUI through smoking marijuana, Delta 8, Delta 10, and similar substances. And the main issue and question as to marijuana cases is how can the state prove an individual is impaired by marijuana at the time they were driving the vehicle? And this question comes up often because marijuana stays in your system for more than just a day or two. Many studies show that it stays in your system for up to 30 days. So how can the state prove that just because it was in your blood that you were actually under the influence at the time you were driving? Now, on blood results, there will be three different substances of marijuana that will come back on that result. Two are inactive, which show how often and how much an individual might smoke. And only one of those will actually be active, which actually shows at the time of the blood draw a number similar to the zero point zero 0.08 for alcohol. In states where it's legal, such as Nevada, 3 nanograms a milliliter is the equivalent of zero point zero 0.08 for alcohol as a presumptive impairment level. However, there are studies, even from the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, that states that there is no correlation between the blood results, the number of the active, and the inactive, and whether or not you are impaired. The main reason for this, as many individuals may think, is the amount that that individual smokes, the inactive level, how often an individual smokes may impact whether or not that individual is impaired or not. Because the more you smoke, the less likely it is to cause an impairing effect. And so it makes it very difficult for the state to prove that you are under the influence or too impaired to drive. And so, how do they prove that? Well, they'll try to prove it through claiming that you have red, watery, bloodshot eyes. They'll claim that you were lethargic or slow reactions, which is a common example of someone who is impaired from marijuana. But those are just a few ways that they can prove probable cause. The issue is, how can the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you were too impaired to drive because of you smoking marijuana? And that is just a case by case basis where we have to look at what you look like on the video and look at those blood results. But again, it is extremely difficult for the state to prove that you were too impaired to drive, other than potentially your driving behavior that night.